The broadcast is live. Look at
Yes, we are live. Good morning and welcome to Dads with Coffee. I'm Aaron.
I'm Keith. How's everyone?
You know, they don't seem to talk the way that you
They
and I
don't.
talk. I don't understand. I mean,
we don't get that positive feedback.
I don't get the feedback, man. I don't understand.
So this is going to be weird because I'm going to be looking at you and I'm going to be looking at me and I'm going to be looking at my phone to see if there's any comments on the Facebook discussion. And I'm going to be.
I know, right? I can look at the comments over here on the side as we go because it's on mine. But yeah, it took me a while to get used to doing it this way because, you know, I want to look at the camera, but then I want to look at you. And so I had to figure out how to manage that. So
need you up here or something.
Right.
Need your face right below. Anyway, that's not why we're here.
Well, it may be why we're here. You don't know what we don't know what we're doing.
We don't. We're drinking coffee. We're talking.
Man,
we haven't seen each other in a week. So
this was my leftover Christmas coffee cup, but it's the biggest thing I had, so that's why I'm using it.
Well, you know, I'm going with the.
I'm sure you have to.
Red Kingdom this morning. Yeah.
Well, they got everybody re-signed, didn't they? They got y'all are good to go for another year.
No, Evan and I have been having this discussion.
Are they just, you know, not wanting to sign everybody? Who are they not wanting to sign?
Well, you know, the salary cap dropped like $20 million this year, which never happens. Salary cap never goes down.
Right.
And so this year it did. And so they lost both of their tackles. They lost a running back yesterday. Evan's favorite player in the whole world retires. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Lauren. Good to see you here.
Good morning, ladies. And I know some gentlemen are with them. I know Bobby's always with Janet. He told me on Sunday, it says Janet, but I'm there too.
All right, Bobby, how are you? Good. I got the bright light from the.
Yeah, you do. You're like
building skylight this morning.
You have like an aura coming out from behind you.
Imagine if I come over here.
Oh my gosh. Be in the light as he is in the light.
See, one of the architectural design things that I love about this building is when they put these windows in. They put the crosses up there.
Yep.
On both sides.
So the sunrise and the sunset hit the cross.
You can watch the cross travel across the room and back. It's really cool.
That is awesome. I had never paid attention.
I used to come over here before they even had, before we had walls or anything. When it was just sticks, and I would watch this. I would watch the cross travel back and forth.
Lori, we're just happy you have a job because I know you were looking for a while, and I know that you're enjoying that time. You could always listen to us later if you can't listen to us live the whole way through. So we'll be glad to have you jump on later if you have to. But thank you for tuning in while you can. So
you texted me last night and you're like, hey man, what are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. What are we going to talk about?
Well, you know, this, I'm up here. I'm in Hennessy, by the way, if nobody knows, I'm up in Hennessy. I'm in the RV park lobby. It's a great place to stay. If you're ever up in this area, Quick RV, it's a great place to stay up in the south side of Hennessy. I'm on the south side. But anyway, you know, we're up here because of the funeral for Dulcie's mother. That will be tomorrow at 1:30. We're having a viewing tonight, so everybody rolls in today. And then we'll have the viewing tonight and the funeral tomorrow. And one of the things, I have my two shots. Okay. I don't know what that means.
That's 2 shots of coffee.
Good. You know, one of the things that we've been dealing with up here, and you know, you've already dealt with these things. This is the first one for us where a parent has died, and so, you know, like you asked, you said, you know, I texted you last night, go, what are we going to talk about? And I said, well, I think it would be important for us to talk about things like wills and advanced directives.
Yeah,
and
DNRs and
DNRs and all these things.
Even funeral arrangements.
and possibly even some funeral arrangements. I called my parents the other day, and I said, "Hey, I need to know, what have you, what have you done?"
Right.
Because her mom and dad, they have a will and testament. That's good. But they didn't have advanced directives. They didn't have a DNR. Now, I want to say, you're not required to have a DNR.
No, you're not.
I just know that as medical technology has risen and the abilities that they have to keep a body functioning doesn't mean the person's there any longer.
Exactly.
And I know for me, having a DNR in the moments, specifically, if I'm not responsive, if there's, doesn't seem to be any chance, then let me go on to Jesus, and,
and that's a decision that you don't want your kids to have to make for you.
Exactly. So I called my folks and I said, no, we have DNRs, we have advanced directives. We don't want any, we don't want to just be kept alive just for the sake of the body. We want to go on to Jesus. I mean, that's the next step, is to go be with Jesus. And that's what they want. And I said, thank you. And they said, it's because we don't want you to have to make that decision. And they said, it's not because you don't think you can. Well, you could, but if we could go ahead and make that decision, first of all, it doesn't put it on a spouse or a child to make that decision, because, oh my gosh, let me tell you how hard it is and how hard it has been to watch, as they didn't have those in place and he needed to make that decision. And that was a very difficult decision. So
with my mom, now my mom, she had a DNR, but she didn't have the like we had to have the discussion.
Advanced directive.
Yeah. We had to have the discussion as a family. Hey, are we going to, we're going to let mom stay on the medicine that's keeping her alive, or are we going to go ahead and discontinue that medicine and let nature take its course?
Right.
We as a family, the five of us and dad, ultimately decided that she's not living, and she wouldn't want to live like this, even if she were.
Right.
She wasn't herself. She wasn't interactive with us. She couldn't sit up and drink her sweet tea. She couldn't watch her soap. She couldn't watch her game shows. She couldn't do any of the things that made mom. She couldn't travel anymore. One of the greatest things that my mom loved to do was travel.
Oh, yes.
And when being in the Navy, she would come out to Maryland, and she loved, my mom absolutely loved coming to New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, come on. I mean, Mardi Gras is a fun time. Well, it can be a weird time, but it's a fun time.
But see, when you live in New Orleans, Mardi Gras is different than when you go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Okay.
All right.
Because you know where to go. You know where some of the more family-centered things to do are, the wholesome things to do are. You don't get around with a bunch of debauchery.
Right.
You just stay away from that stuff, because there's more to Carnival. And the people of New Orleans really hate what it's turned into, because of the negative view that it has for people. So anyway, my mom loved to travel. And so when she got the chance, she would get on an airplane. My brother worked for American Airlines, still works for American Airlines. And she'd be like, hey, Kevin, I want to go here. Hey, Kevin, I want to go there. Hey, Kevin, I want to go somewhere else.
Okay, Mom.
And Kevin would find her a standby seat. Mom, looks like you could be good to go on this day, on this flight. I think it would cost her $45, $50 that he would never take from her. He would just pay for her travels around the world.
Wow.
Well, my mom never got to come to Dallas. My mom was never. She never made it to Fort Worth.
Okay.
She died shortly before we moved here. We were still in Pennsylvania. And I know that, given the chance, Mom would have loved to be here. She never got to go to Philadelphia. She never got to see and experience that. So again, mom wasn't living.
Sure.
Mom was alive, but mom wasn't living. Because that's
Well, yeah, and the body was alive,
yes.
but her spirit had gone on.
This sun's getting worse and worse.
Yes, it is. It keeps traveling with you.
Yeah. It's crazy how it does that. It's orbiting or something.
And I think that's why it's so important to have an advanced directive to
Right.
what are your wishes as you approach the end of life if you can't make them, if you're not cognizant of your situation, if you're unconscious, if you're not able to come out of that state of unconsciousness. And, what is it? How do you want your life to end physically? And we've been given the opportunity to make those decisions. And I don't know why you wouldn't make those decisions. I
think I could. You don't want to think about the morbidity of it.
I know, and I was talking to a pastor friend of mine. We in the West have the worst time when talking about death.
Oh yeah.
We don't know how to deal with death. We don't know what we don't want to say. We don't want to talk about death. We want to avoid death. And I'm convinced it's because of the American dream. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Death is not a part of that.
Yeah,
we don't know how to deal with it. And I think we need to learn how to deal, or at least be able to talk about it without it feeling disrespectful.
I agree, but it's like you said, it's hard for us to embrace that.
Yep.
Now, see, my dad was different, right? Because my dad saw what my mom went through.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's mind was sharp as a tack all the way to the bitter end.
Right.
And dad knew exactly what he was doing. Dad knew exactly what he was saying. Whereas mom couldn't have made a decision for herself in her last moments.
Sure.
Dad saw that. Dad was a very smart man. So when they went to make mom's funeral arrangements at the funeral home, he said, let's go ahead and get mine done too while we're here.
Right.
He knew it wasn't going to be much longer. My dad died September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 8 months after my mom died.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom died in August, and then the following May, my dad died.
That's not uncommon.
No.
Sometimes, sometimes.
And Cheryl, who just jumped on, knows this story so much better than I do. She was home. She was taking care of my parents.
Yeah.
She was Dulcie. She was the one that was the closest. They had the most availability. She and my brother Bill were probably the two that did the most, because I was away, Laura was away, Kevin was away. And it was tougher for us. I think Laura was still away. I don't remember, but they were home. They were there. They were closest. And it wasn't fair. You've lived it now for just a little bit of the family to take care of a lot of the things.
Right.
So that's, So anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's important to, I think, make these decisions. And I remember we were freshly married, freshly minted, if you will, in our first church, no kids. Mm-hmm. And we had the state guy come up to hold a wills seminar to help our folk. And at the time I was living in Oklahoma, and they would come up and they would assist you with that, and they pay some of the basic expenses to do that. And Texas will do the same thing. In fact, here in a little while, if you stick with us, I'm going to have at the bottom, I'm going to have a contact information that if you'll contact this guy, he's with the BGCT, Texas Baptists, they will assist you and get you started on making sure that your desires are put down on paper and in a legal fashion. And it's not just the division of a state.
Right.
When we moved to Guyman and both kids were born, we had to rework it, because now there's more decision. And this is where the young parents, I think, don't always understand the importance of it. Because when you're in your late 20s and 30s, you dying is not what you're considering. But hey, we just had a 110 car pileup on North 35.
Exactly.
You don't know. And that's not a guilt trip. It's not a scare tactic. You don't know. Man, you're out there driving in DFW. My goodness gracious, you don't know. You don't know when it's going to happen.
One of my football buddies had a future daughter-in-law in that pileup. She was injured badly. She just got out of rehab, her physical rehab yesterday. She had to go through speech therapy. She had to go through physical therapies, multiple physical therapies. So yeah, you never know. And then a guy that played upward with us, he coached.
Yeah.
One of his workmates was killed in that accident. A young man,
Yeah.
He's 50-ish years old, 50-something years old.
You don't know. And so, as a part for the young parents that may be watching this, or maybe somebody's going to forward this to you as a little nudge to say, hey, you need to do it. And hey, that's fine. Here's the reality. If this is what Dulcie and I went through. If we were to die in a car wreck, but our kids survive, what happens to them? Now, see, we might want to think about the ancient days, the 1900s, and begin to think about, okay, well, just, our family will take care of them. Well, not immediately.
Right.
In today's system, if you don't have a will and a testament, if you don't state, my kids will be raised by these people, and you don't state that in there, it'll go through probate, which means that they go to their wards of the state for 6 months, a year, 2 years, however long it takes for them to clean up your estate and to finalize your estate. And, and I'm not going to get on this bandwagon, but we know the government does not move swiftly. Okay. It doesn't.
You owe them money.
Right.
I've been on that side.
And that was a startling reality to us of, wait, you mean they don't mean my folks can't just pick them up and care for them during the time? No. If you have not stated what is supposed to happen to them, then they become wards of the state. You don't want that,
especially if, if you have one surviving parent, sure, you go to that primary next of kin, but they have to figure out who's going to be the primary and who's even the secondary next of kin now. And then,
yeah. And that's true. If one of us did, but one of us didn't, it's a moot issue.
Easy day.
But what if, and so for the young parents, it's not about, well, I don't have any money. I don't have any really retirement, then, hey, it's not about that. It's about the kids. If you and your wife were to pass in an accident or whatever, where are the kids going? Have you stated where they're going legally? Because if you haven't, and that was the big kicker as to why we did it and what we needed to do. Now, what we had to do in Oklahoma, and I think Texas is the same, because it was 10:30 last night when we decided to talk about this, so I didn't get time to research it. But in Oklahoma, if you gave 10% of your estate, it could be 10 cents if you've only got $1 left. Okay. But if you gave 10%, if you designated 10% to Baptist causes, we gave 5% to my BCM at Union University, and she gave 5% to the BCM at Oklahoma State, her alma mater. And that was 10% to Baptist causes. Didn't even have to be in state, just Baptist causes. Then they covered all the expenses of making the will. And that was a tremendous, hey, we were, 31, 32. We weren't making any money.
Early in ministry.
Yeah. All the money was going to diapers and formula. I mean, that's.
We've all been there.
And I was like, wow. And they did this. Now, for those that have assets, you also get the chance to state what you want done with your assets. What do you mean? It doesn't just go to the kids automatically. No, that's in the movies.
All right.
The state is going to take as much as they can because that's what they do. If you have not predetermined, if you haven't predetermined what you want to do, and advanced directives, how do you want your life to end in the event that you can't make that decision on your own?
Right.
Talking to my parents, and I'm talking to my kids. It's like, hey, last time we updated our will was 20 years ago. It's time
to discussion that we've never had. We've never had this discussion with our kids, and our boys are mostly grown now. And
do you all have you all got all that stated?
I do because anytime I would travel overseas, I would have to update that.
Right.
Those are kind of some things that I didn't always let Joanna in on. Because I went to some places that weren't the safest places that a guy should or could go. But every time we traveled, we would have to update that. So I can, I'm assuming that it just carried over to my civilian life, post-military, but
it's there, but it's just whatever you wrote the last time.
Right.
And like for us, when we wrote it, I guess 15 years ago, we updated it. Bella came along and we updated it. The kids were little. And so our mind was, who's going to raise the kids in the event?
Sure.
I mean, one's the age of majority. The other one's almost the age of majority.
He's right there,
believes that they're already the age of majority, but that's a story for another time. They're basically grown, and it's not about who's going to raise the kids any longer.
Right.
I mean, yes, for one, until they turn 18, somebody has to be the guardian of them. But as life changes, so do these decisions. And it's not about being indecisive. It's about relationships change, people change.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the grandparents you thought were going to raise your kids 20 years ago may not be there anymore. And so, and again, if you have stated somebody who's no longer capable of doing that, they become wards of the state. Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's not okay.
So if you can, and especially in this age of I want what I want when I want it, why would we not do it in this particular instance?
Sure. It just makes more sense to be prepared. We were both Boy Scouts. That was be prepared. That was the Scout motto. And
absolutely.
So what would be the chances of us being able to get something like this done on our campus?
Absolutely. I'm going to contact Jerry actually today. They do that. They will come to our campus. They will hold a seminar, and then they will schedule appointments with you for you to personally either update your situation or to start your situation. And I think every couple
sure
needs to do this. And specifically if you got kids. I mean, if you got kids, my gosh, you've got to get this done.
And if they'll come to us to do it, why not?
Why not? And they will. I'm just on the bottom of the screen there, Jerry Carlisle at texasbaptist.org. He'll take care of you. He'll get it started if you don't want to wait until we can get it scheduled on our campus. You can do that. You can call him at 214-828-5114 for our podcast friends that aren't seeing the video that we're doing right now. So 214-828-5114, Jerry Carlisle. He'll take care of you and he'll help you with these things. Some people are going to think that it has that this is a disrespectful thing, and it's not. And in fact, Dr. Bill Ellis suggested to us, and this is true. Marilyn Slack is in our own congregation. Yeah, this is what she does. She does family estates and wills and things of that nature. And she does handle that. And so you can certainly contact her after the service on Sunday. If you're on campus, you can say, hey, Aaron and Keith said, we got to take care of this. So go give Marilyn some business and help her out a little bit too. But that's true. I'm not trying to overlook her. I just know that, Texas Baptist also offer this and as well. So wherever you get it done, whether it's Jerry, whether it's Marilyn, whether it's your personal lawyer, matters not to me. What I want to make sure of is that what you want gets done the way you want it, whether it's end of life, whether it's estate management, whether it is guardians for your children.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get it done because you don't know what you don't know. And if you can put your wishes in order, then nobody's having to make those decisions of what they think is best if they don't hold to your same structure of beliefs. And
right.
it's just important.
That was a really good talk. I'm not sure I like this format. I don't like being in 2 states when we do this.
Well, I'll be home Saturday, so I'll be back on Sunday. And I don't believe we're going to be traveling for the next couple of weeks. So next week we'll be able to do this live in person like usual. But
I can guarantee you that 95% of this entire video, I'm looking at you on the screen. And so all people see is the side eye view of me. And it just looks really dumb. They're used to seeing me look really dumb, though, so it's okay. Good morning, Jerry and Norma. I'm assuming Jerry and Norma.
Yeah, my headset quit me, so hang on just a second.
Miss Norma said the Igo Hearts. He's really good at filling time. I'm not so good at filling time. I got homeschool coming in just a minute, so
yeah, you're good. I'm back.
There we are. I got
my head
on our way in.
My headphones quit me, so but
they quit right now. They're still quit.
Thank you guys for being with us. Had a good crowd with us this morning. Appreciate that. And love the comments. I love the opportunity to interact some. Bill, thank you for your input there. It does help us so much, and we're thankful for that as well. So as homeschool walks into the youth building, and
yeah, here they come. They're coming in right now.
I've got a video I've got to finalize and get prepared for tomorrow night. So, hey, you guys have a great Thursday, a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Love you guys.